welcome to today's episode of the Balanced Approach podcast. I'm your host, Louis Padian. I hope that you're doing well and are enjoying the podcast and the topics we've covered so far. These podcasts are released every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, so be sure to subscribe wherever you are listening to be kept up to date.
So today we're going to round off our mini-series on dietary fat by linking in with a supplement, a popular supplement that a lot of people take or ask questions about, and that is fish oils and omega-3s, which aren't exactly the same thing, which we'll discuss later on. But I thought it was a really important and a nice way to sort of round off this mini-series, as it's one of the most common ones, it's one of the most researched ones, and probably one of the ones with the most benefits potentially just from taking each day. So I want to preface this by saying that I know fish oils aren't vegan or vegetarian friendly, and I didn't want those people to feel excluded, but it's a bit more complicated when we talk about omega-3s, supplementation, and supplements in general for those populations, and potentially fish oils probably sort of applies to the vast majority of the population rather than the minority. So I will be doing specific episodes on vegan and vegetarian supplementation in regards to health, performance, weight loss. But if you have any questions in the meantime before those episodes are released, then just drop me a message on social media or at Louis Padian Nutrition, and I can help you out there before those episodes are released. So let's get cracking. So first of all, what are fish oils? So you've probably seen them around all the place. You get cauliflower oil and fish oils. And again, those are two different supplements. And I would probably suggest supplementing with fish oils over cauliflower oil. And fish oils are basically what they say on the tin. They are oils taken from oily fish, in particular their skin. And we're talking about mackerel, sardines, tuna, and salmon in particular. And they are rich in these omega-3 fatty acids, these polyunsaturated fatty acids that we want in our diet, that we need in our diet because they are essential fatty acids. And the two main omega-3s that we're going to be talking about are EPA and DHA. They do have other names, their proper names. I'm not going to try and pronounce them on a podcast as they take a lot of work and a bit of a run-up from my side. So just for now, we'll call them EPA and DHA, which are the omega-3 fatty acids that we're wanting to get from our diet. And why do we want them? What are the benefits of taking fish oils or these omega-3 fatty acids? And there's quite a lot of research around this. It's one of the probably oldest supplements that we've sort of got in regards to health promotion. And there's quite a few benefits to taking them. So the first one is reduced risk of heart disease. And this has been associated with reducing and lowering the level of triglycerides in the blood, reducing blood pressure, which is, I know, a common issue, especially in people that work within the NHS, and slowing the progression of atherosclerosis, which is the hardening and thickening of arteries, which is something that we want to try and avoid. All of these sort of help and align with lowering the risk of heart disease and cardiovascular disease in general, which is a massive benefit. Second of all is improved brain function. And one of the things that I find very interesting around omega-3s and fish oils in particular is it's not just focusing on one aspect of the body. There's lots of different systems within the body that it actually benefits. And that doesn't just impact in regards to health, but also in sports performance and potentially in weight loss as well, which we'll touch on in a minute. But brain function, improved memory, cognitive function, decreased risk of neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's and dementia. And there is some research around reduced symptoms of depression as well. So again, far-reaching, wide-reaching, however you want to phrase it, really big impacts just from supplementing with fish oils within the diet. Next up is reduced inflammation, and this also links in sports performance, but also against things like asthma, IBS potentially, and arthritis, which again are common conditions which can impact not just people's day-to-day life, but their ability to manage their food, their ability to be more active and have a better quality of life as well. So again, supplementing with fish oils could help someone with arthritis move a bit better, therefore manage their weight a little better, which we know weight has an impact if arthritis, especially is in the joints around the hips or knees or ankles, can really impact their day-to-day activity. So could improve their quality of life, so be in less pain, potentially be able to move more, manage their weight a bit better, and then reduce the risk of other conditions like type 2 diabetes and stroke and heart disease. So it's really interesting how having one supplement like this can have such a wide and far-reaching, yes, there's other things we can do, but I just wanted to state how wide-reaching, like with IBS as well, that's a common condition that a lot of people struggle with, that having some fish oils or omega-3s in their diet could help manage that a bit better. It's not going to solve the issue. There's probably lots of other things that we could do, but again, just one little supplement that we have daily or increasing oily fish in our diet can just have wide and far-reaching impacts that have ripple effect elsewhere. Next up on the list is eye health, so protecting against age-related macular degeneration, so prolonging quality vision long-term, that is the leading cause of vision loss for people as they get older. So again, preventing that long-term, and this is why I love fish oils. I think they're one of the top supplements I recommend with a lot of my clients, and I think it's one of the ones, there's some considerations around it, but one that can have a really big impact and they're quite affordable and accessible as well. Other conditions that it's shown to have a positive impact on or reduce the risk of is type 2 diabetes, stroke and high blood pressure, as I've mentioned. So again, really far wide reaching. These are common threads throughout a lot of these podcasts, reducing the risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure. These all interlink, and there's, again, as you probably say, there's lots of different things. They don't have to exist in singularity, that we could improve the quality of our diet, increase the amount of dietary or oily fish or using fish oils. We could probably be more physically active, manage our stress a little better, and all these things are probably going to benefit things like stress, things like risk of heart disease, things like our mood, our ability to move more often and making better food decisions. So again, it's just another tool in the toolbox to use that a lot of people could benefit from. So the big question that a lot of people feel could be useful is, can they help with weight loss? And the research is not great on this. It doesn't show to have a benefit on weight loss in particular, but there is this interesting impact that in supplementing with fish oils or having more oily fish within the diet is associated with reduced waist circumference, which again doesn't quite correlate with reduced weight or weight loss. So they don't actually know the mechanisms. Potentially some benefits or mechanisms that could be just anti-inflammatory aspects or how it impacts fat distribution around the body. But again, I'm not going to say that it's going to be a weight loss pill that will solve all your weight loss issues, but it could actually reduce your waist if that's one of the areas that you want to lose body fat. But we know there's massive health benefits from managing our waist circumference in regards to disease and health risk long term. So one of the things that I think is always important to say is that actually the benefits of having supplements in the diet isn't necessarily A to B route. It's not going to be a direct impact. And actually, potentially improving people's overall health and well-being could help them manage their weight a bit better. Happy people tend to make better decisions around food and activity. That's simple. That's something that I see day to day. So I'm not going to say that fish oils is going to dramatically improve your weight loss results, but it could help reduce aches and pains. It could help with inflammation. It could help with some IBS issues. It could help with reducing the risk of heart disease, and these sort of things could correlate to better health outcomes or better weight-related outcomes long term. So that's something to consider as well, that it's not a direct impact, but there could be a roundabout way that it could improve people's weight impact or management their weight long term. I thought it's important to touch on sports performance, as sometimes as people get more active, manage their weight a bit better and want to get healthy, they may start to become more active and actually want to get the most out of their training, and that's something that I see a lot of clients as well. So there's a few benefits around sports performance that are sort of similar to the health benefits as well, but can improve in the sports arena. So one, reduce muscle soreness and inflammation. So again, reducing muscle soreness and improving recovery can reduce the risk of overtraining, but actually mean that you potentially can train more often and get more benefits. So that compounding interest on those sessions. So if you've been able to train 3 times a week, potentially squeezing out the session around 4 times a week, for example, that could have a huge impact across a long period of time on your progression within that exercise, within that activity, within that team sport, that arena, however you're becoming more active. And also, nobody wants to walk around achy. And one of the biggest things, as I've probably touched on around in previous episodes, is that when people have severe muscle rate related soreness or DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, after training, they tend to be less active following those sessions. So doing that big spin session in the morning might actually prevent them from being more active later in the day and may work against their overall energy expenditure. So having something that could help with that information can only be a benefit to people potentially managing their soreness a bit better, being able to move a little bit more after potentially tougher sessions, and help with overall health goals. As we've touched on around brain function, but cognitive function. So again, this might not be around sports, but it could be around work performance as well. But increased focus, improved reaction time, better decision-making skills can all be beneficial on the sporting field, but also day-to-day as well. So helping with that brain function, supplementing with fish oils could be helpful or help you move in the right direction with your cognitive function. And then overall, the overarching theme around cardiovascular health, physical activity, sports performance relies heavily on cardiovascular health. So with the benefits from fish oils for having oily fish in your diet, that could be a big impact on regards to your improvement and also your ability and longevity within sports as well. So how to take them. We've talked about what they are, why we should have them, and let's look on the how. So as with all supplements, probably best to consult your GP if you have any concerns, as fish oils can interact or counteract a lot of medications, and that is something that is definitely worth being really serious about. Don't want to underestimate the power of some of these supplements and their impact on medications that could be quite damaging to our health long term. Most people will benefit from 1 to 2 grams of EPA and DHA. And when we talk about EPA and DHA, it's the combined figure. So it's not 1 to 2 grams of EPA and then 1 to 2 grams of DHA. It's 1 to 2 grams of DHA and EPA combined. And a lot of the other recommendations from governing bodies are quite modest or quite low in comparison, but the benefits seem to be around 1 to 2 grams of that overall EPA and DHA. That might need to be reduced if you're having things like oily fish throughout the week. If you're having oily fish most days or a couple of days a week, you might not need any fish oil supplementation at all. But per 1,000 milligrams of a fish oil capsule, you're only going to get 180 milligrams of EPA and 120 milligrams of DHA. So that's only 300 milligrams of the combined omega-3s. So that's only out of 1,000 milligrams, only 300 milligrams of that is actually omega-3s. So in order to hit that 1 to 2 grams of combined omega-3s, you're looking at 3 to 6 grams of oily fish supplements per day. Again, read the labels, read nutritional labels, figure out how much EPA and DHA you'll need. But that's the sort of recommendations that I've seen from research that will improve overall health and well-being long term. This, as I've said, might need to be reduced or managed depending on how much oily fish you're having throughout the week as well. It's important to be mindful of a few things before this. So, potential side effects. Fish oils can have mild side effects such as fishy burps, which is a really unpleasant one. So I suggest taking them with a mixed meal to help sort of dilute that flavour a little bit. Potentially some people might feel ill and may impact your digestive tract and cause things like diarrhea as well. And these things can be quite mild. Some people might not get any side effects at all, and they tend to sort of alleviate over time as well, just as you get used to them. Blood thinners is a big one. So if you're taking blood thinners, they can increase the risk of bleeding. So definitely worth consulting if you're thinking about it and you're taking anything that involves thinning your blood. Discuss it with your GP beforehand. Discuss if there's any better ways around it, because that's definitely something that we do not want. So worth consulting with your doctor. Some lower quality fish oils may have small levels of mercury, which is not good in any way or form. So make sure you're looking at the quality, the level of approval on them, and you're getting them from a reliable source, a reliable supplement company, or if they're third-party tested as well, could be a useful indicator to see the quality of the substance that you're taking. And then also pregnancy and breastfeeding, again, discuss it with your midwife, discuss it with your GP. They are considered generally safe, so it might be raising the issue with them if you're interested in taking them, but it's always best to consult with your GP or your midwife if you're pregnant or breastfeeding as well. So that's what we've covered around fish oils. Hopefully that's a useful podcast episode for you. We've covered what are fish oils, why they might be useful, why you might take them, so what are the benefits that you're hoping to get from them in regards to sports, health, performance, and potentially some benefits around waist circumference, but not necessarily weight loss, unless we have a look at the wide-reaching effects of being healthier, feeling a bit better. How to take them, so what sort of recommendations we take around dosaging and how frequently to take them every day, and then also some things to be wary of.
So there you have it. Thank you very much for listening to today's episode of the Balanced Approach podcast. If you have any questions, queries, or would like to reach out to me, please do. I am at Louis Padian Nutrition, which is at LOUIS Padian Nutrition on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and all other social media platforms. If you're looking for support in achieving your goals and living a healthier, happier, and more balanced life in the process, click the link below and inquire about working with me. Remember to subscribe to the Balanced Approach podcast wherever you're listening for more insightful episodes, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.